pilot right now. Audible. Audible. How are you, Namacharya?
Very good,
Thank you.
Maharaj.
I've got the ticket. Thank you.
Yes, Maharaj.
As we get a little closer, we'll talk more about, details. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Good. I'll just get my Gita and I'll be with you all. We just installed an elevator to our temple.
Oh,
And you did the ribbon cutting ceremony. So for the elderly, we now have a real nice, slick, modern elevator. I'll put it in the blog. I don't know if you, Bruce, read my daily blog, but we'll put it in there for tomorrow. Hold on. Yeah, I have with me Uddhav today and Hare Krishna. Ravinder Swarup, Hare Krishna, how are you?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Who is it? I said it in Dutch. How are you? All right. We got Ananta Shesh. How's Ananta Shesh? Shesh, how are the alligators these days down there in Florida?
They're waiting impatiently for you, Maharaj.
Oh, is that right? Yeah. The big news out there is one trainer. She got killed by an orca. She's like a trainer for animals somewhere, and the orca went wild on her.
Yeah, that's why I
Even though
like.
they do all these stuff.
Yeah, that's why I like to stay in my room. Totally against
Okay,
nature.
right. The alligator.
Totally against nature.
You're anti-nature, are you? Okay, so I guess we can get started. All right, and after this, I'm involved in another Age of Kali drama practice, and which we're putting on in September, first weekend. Hare Krishna. Just keep going on with the plays. All right, let's start now. Nama Om Vishnuvadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminita Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Paricharini Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarire Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai, Hare Bo. We'll go to our invocational mantra. Please repeat after me. Om Ajnana Timarandasya.
Om Ajnanantimirandasya.
Jnananjana Shalakaya.
Jnananjana Shalakya.
Chakshuranmilitan Yena.
Chakshurunmilitam Yena.
Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha.
Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha.
I was born in the darkest ignorance.
I was born in the darkest
ignorance.
And my spiritual master opened my eyes.
And my spiritual master opened my eyes
with the torch of knowledge.
With the torch of knowledge.
I offer my respectful obeisances unto him.
I offer my respectful obeisances
unto him.
Srila Prabhupada ki.
Jai.
Hare Krishna. Jai. Okay, our host, Vaishnavi, if you could just tell us where we left off, and we'll get to the verse. I think there might be some homework that has been, some of you have been implementing, perhaps. Okay, but give us the verse.
1.10.
Oh yeah, I forgot. We're starting again at the beginning. All right. Okay, are there any homework assignments that we need to address first? If I could get honesty from you. Okay, I guess there's none because I see like a few blank faces. Okay, I might have the wrong group. All right, here we go. 10. Observing the armies. Aparitang tad ashmakang Balang Bhishma Parikshitam Paryaptan Vidang Eteshan Balang Bhima Virakshitam. Translation. Our strength is immeasurable, and we are perfectly protected by grandfather Bhishma, whereas the strength of the Pandavas, carefully protected by Bhima, is limited. Hare Krishna. Okay, we've got a purport which is not too lengthy, and I imagine we might go to another verse as well. So we can maybe get, let's get two people to read the purport here. If you could line them up, Vaishnavi, please.
Navayamana and Dhanraj.
Okay.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Herein an estimation of comparative strength is made by Duryodhana. He thinks that the strength of his armed forces is immeasurable, being specifically protected by the most experienced general, grandfather Bhishma.
On the other hand, the forces of the Pandavas are limited, being protected by a less experienced general, Bhim, who is like a fig in the presence of Bhishma. Duryodhan was always envious of Bhim because he knew perfectly well that if he should die at all, he would only be killed by Bhim. But at the same time, he was confident of his victory on account of the presence of Bhishma, who was a far superior general. His conclusion that he would come out of the battle victorious was well ascertained.
Ascertain. Yes, thank you very much. All right. And let's just go to the next verse. We'll get a volunteer for Sanskrit, another person for the English, and then just fill up with the purport. Maybe the balance of the devotees we have on board today could help us with that. You have the wonderful task, Vaishnavi, of queuing up everybody.
Okay, Arjun Saka, can you read the Sanskrit and then Arjuna, you are in the car, so can you read the translation? I don't know. Namacharya and Ravindra Swarup take over, please.
Okay, we've got the Sanskrit, we've got the verse itself in English, and then you've got room for about 4 people to read.
Haripad, Namacharya, and Ravindra Swarup.
Okay, all right. Okay.
Hare Krishna. Ayaneshu sarveshu yatha bhagvam avestita bhismam eva bhiratastu bhavantah sarva eva hi.
Thank you. Next.
All of you
All of you must now give full support to Grandfather Bhishma as you stand at your respective strategic points of entrance into the phalanx of the army.
Nice. Next. Purport.
Duryodhana, after praising the prowess of Bhishma, further considered that others might think that they had been considered less important. So, in his usual diplomatic way, he tried to adjust the situation in the above words. He emphasized that Bhishma Deva was undoubtedly the greatest hero, but he was an old man, so everyone must especially think of his protection from all sides.
Thank you.
He might become engaged in the fight, and the enemy might take advantage of his full engagement on one side. Therefore, it was important that other heroes not leave their strategic positions and allow the enemy to break the phalanx. Duryodhan clearly felt that the victory of the Kurus depended on the presence of Bhishma Dev. He was confident of the full support of Bhishma Dev and Dronacharya in the battle because he well knew
that they did not even speak a word when Arjuna's wife, Draupadi, in her helpless condition, had appealed to them for justice while she was being forced to appear naked in the presence of all the great generals in the assembly.
Okay, thank you.
Although he knew that the two generals had some sort of affection for the Pandavas, he hoped that these generals would now completely give it up, as they had done during their gambling performances.
Thank you so much. Let's go for the two verses. Can I get a volunteer for 10 and 11? Someone who's starving to reach out.
Our strength is immeasurable, and we are perfectly protected by grandfather Bhishma, whereas the strength of the Pandavas, carefully protected by Bhima, is limited.
Can we have Guru De? Guru De?
Yeah, Hare
Yeah.
Krishna. All of you must now give full support to Grandfather Bhishma as you stand at your respective strategic points of entrance into the phalanx of the army.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhus, for listening and reading. Okay, so the theme here is about strength, really. You know, strength comes in different shapes and forms. There's mental strength, there's physical strength, there's spiritual strength. All of these different forms of power play into the story of the Kurukshetra war. Okay, so now Duryodhana is speaking, and perhaps he's a little puffed up, a little overconfident, you know. He's steering the Titanic. And, you know, he's saying, we've got it made. We have got it made because victory's on our side because of Bhishma. Okay, so there's no doubt that Bhishma was the experienced man out of the whole lot as an expert bowman, expert Kshatriya, and so on like that. He's got the seniority to prove it also, and a string of successes on his side. You know? Now, according to the calculation of Duryodhana, the Pandavas are at a disadvantage because even though Bhima is there and he's a strong man, he doesn't have the same skill as Bhishma. And to be honest with you, even Bhima didn't have the same skill and agility as Duryodhana himself when it comes to, you know, the warcraft. So that is a fact. That's how these three people line up. We are talking about Bhima and we're talking about Bhishma. We're talking about these two people, and the only difference in between these two, in terms of, well, they share similarities in terms of their loyalty to Krishna, but one has an S and the other one doesn't. Right? Bhishma is a senior man. Bhima is a less experienced person. And so it's a fact that between even Duryodhana and Bhima, he had brute strength. He had the physical power, but he didn't have the same agility as Duryodhana. Anyways, we're talking about strength. And, you know, the common theme in the Gita is that strength really lies in when it comes from the Lord, from Krishna. He's the powerhouse. And Arjuna recognized that about Krishna. He had the choice, take 1 million infantrymen that are owned by Krishna, or he had the choice, take Krishna himself without any arms, without any weaponry or anything like that. Arjuna wisely chose, I'm going to take you if there's a choice here. And of course, Duryodhana was kind of happy about that. Yay, I get all these men. Whoa. He was just measuring everything by material calculation, but not spiritual calculation. Whereas Arjuna was the more a deep individual, if you can use that term. Arjuna was definitely more, let's say, evolved, spiritually. On the positive side, Duryodhana was a good statesman. He wasn't too bad. He knew how to flatter. He also knew how to, in a diplomatic way, make everyone feel good. Hey, I need you and you and you and you to be right next to Bhishma, since he's the greatest fighter. It gives them some honor, right? So in this way, he uses the art of diplomacy. He's not a stupid man. He's quite smart. The only problem is he was jealous. He was envious towards the pious Pandavas. There was just something that irked him all the time with his cousins. And so that was, you can say, a weakness. Since we're talking about strengths, okay, well, what are the weaknesses? And the weaknesses is if you're overcome by self-centeredness, like here's how it works, because I was born in a certain country, therefore it is the best country. Because I am of a certain clan, therefore this clan is the best. It's an extension of the ego's workings. So yeah, I find this very interesting, to compare the powers, and it's natural to do that. If two people line up against each other in a duel, like they used to do in the 1700s, or so they have a duel and they take their paces. I think it was a very European thing, perhaps more French than anything, But so you have your back to back, and you've got your, what is it, a pistol or a musket, or yes, it's a pistol, and you take 10 paces, is it? Count of 10, turn, and whoever gets the first guy, whoever's the first one to shoot his target, becomes victorious. And the other, so that his opponent drops dead, and you stay standing up. So they used to do those things as a test of, let's say, it's almost like a gamble test of, a luck like that. Okay, so people will do that, right? If you get these like boxers will do that, right? And these what do you call it? The something like that. People who do several forms of martial arts all blended together. I don't watch that stuff. So mixed martial arts, they size each other up, and they come really close and intimidate each other. Yeah, I think you've all seen that before, right? Even in some of the, people who pose Krishna, there's what's his name, Pundraka, he also challenged Krishna. And he said, listen, I've come here to save to protect the pious, to annihilate miscreants, and to establish Dharma. He took the words out of Krishna's mouth, and he was posing to be the more powerful out of the two. And the Krishna's message was more or less, talk is cheap. Let's just get down to, let's get down to the fight. Yeah, so it's like that. In Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's time, because he was a Brahmin, I was raised in that community. Brahmins would do heavyweight championships, but the heavyweight was not physical, it was more intellectual, how much can you outsmart the other person? And you could or earn a title like Digvijayi, which means that you, wherever direction or wherever you go, you're going to be defeating people because you're just brilliant. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu definitely was a heavyweight champion, but more from the philosophical side. Probably he could also cream somebody physically because he was like 7 feet tall or somewhere in that area. He could probably play a real good game of basketball too because of his height, and he had that strength. So it's possible, it's possible. So people do, they line themselves up and see, and you look at it and see what will intimidate your opponent, you look and see where there's a weak spot. If once in the, let's say, once the fight is in progress, if your opponent uh, is feeling some pain because you jabbed him somewhere, then naturally you're going to jab him there a few more times, right? So it's all in the testing of, looking at the size and the strength and the power, and the mental strength is there too. I don't know if any of you are into that kind of competition, but have you heard about people, the staring competitions, who can stare each other, stare the most, the longest, and defeat the other person? Anyway, life is full of these competitive tendencies. And when we study the Triguna, the three energies, they are also fighting for supremacy. Sattvagun, Rajagun, Tamagun. I was in the park today, and I was sitting on a bench with the devotee. We're working on a project. Then I finished, and there were two ladies with two dogs on the park bench close to me, and I was just making a turn. And before I did, one runner, a jogger, ran, and one of the dogs out of the two gave a mean bark at him. And the guy responded quite negatively. He said, "Control your animals," you know. And then the lady, she didn't take a humble position, say, "I'm sorry," and said, "I can't control them." She just got like a real challenge. Then she saw me, said, "Oh, can you tell me something I don't know already?" I said, and then I talked about the three energies, and she was interested to find out what they were. I explained the first energy is thoughtfulness, second energy is passion, and the third one is ignorance. And then she kind of took it a little bit the wrong way. Well, ignorance is bliss, isn't it? Because I asked her, which one is the best? Which one should you filter your life through? And she said, so, well, ignorance is bliss, isn't it? So I think ignorance. Madam, I think we should just adjust ourselves a little bit, because ignorance usually means heavy self-centeredness, refers to self-destruction. It refers to, laziness and let's intoxication and not being your right mind. So, okay, she got it then. Then I said, what about thoughtfulness or passion? The other lady, the second lady, said, well, passion is the most important, isn't it? So, well, I don't know about that. There's a place for passion, but what about thoughtfulness? What about goodness? I said, oh yeah, okay, yeah, I'll buy into that. So thank you. I learned something today. And I explained that the source of this information comes from Bhagavad Gita. It means a song of the divine, so on like that. Okay, so I bring that up because the three forces of what we call the energies or gunas, they do fight for supremacy. They are taking that position. Now, what about competition? Is it a good thing or a bad thing? That's my question to you all. And maybe we can stir up some interest there. Is competition good or bad? Because it seems like competitiveness, trying your opponent, that always precedes a war, which always has the feature of death. So it looks to me like war is not a good thing. Fighting is not a good thing, because it leads to people being perished, and what speak of what happens to their loved ones. Okay, so is competition good, or is it bad, or is it necessary? Is it natural? Would somebody like to explore that question that I posed to you?
Maharaj, I don't know, but I have always felt like competition is not good. To compete
Okay.
is not good at all.
Okay.
We should be the normal selves and try never to compete with anybody, because everybody is so different. So why compete?
What about the world of free enterprise, right? They like, if you don't have some competitor You know, you're a guy who starts a business and he doesn't have a competitor. His business might fail. He'll get complacent. So some people will say that, well, you know, a little bit of competition can be good. It keeps you on your toes. Right?
But Maharaj, if you're an enterpriser, you are basically running a business. So you
Yes.
just keep running your business, and if you're doing a good job, people will love you, and you will get your customers. You know, why compete? You get it? That's what I'm thinking. You know, if you're a good person, you're doing the job properly, people love you, and that's what you need, customers. You know, you need the people to love you, people who like your business. That's the main
Well,
goal, not
if
competition,
someone is in
right?
business, they can certainly act honestly and people will pick up on that. But
Yeah.
not everybody knows about your level of honesty or not.
Um,
So in the world of free enterprise, it might be that competitiveness can add a positive factor. So I'm just posing that out. Anybody else have a position? Yeah.
Hi,
So
Maharaj.
Yugla Kishore, thank you. Go ahead.
I actually,
Oh,
or Glorious
okay.
be Srila Prabhupada. Yeah, I jumped on late. I couldn't get on. I was on my way home. I kind of agree with Nava. I think that, I mean, I hear what you're saying. A little competition doesn't hurt, but you know, if like when I go out and I talk to people, they feel a good vibe coming off of me. Like if I'm a truth teller, if I am my energy, people, like if you just pay any little bit of attention, you know, like I can look at Nava and I can even see in just in her face, but you have a conversation with someone, you're gonna know. I feel like you can kind of feel who's on the up and up and who's not, you know. And sometimes you'll kick yourself and go like, oh, I should have gone with that first one, you know. Like I
Mhm.
don't think that you necessarily need that.
Okay, well, that's good. I'm glad to hear such opinions. It's good. Just before coming to sit down for this class, I walked over to a place called Tiffany's. Tiffany's. That's where your husband works.
Yes, yes.
It's a
Right.
jewelry store, right?
Yeah, you
And
did you
is there just one jewelry store, enterprise, or are there a number of them out there?
Oh, Tiffany's? There's
Outside of Tiffany's, there's other jewelry enterprises, right?
oh yes, there are, but again, if all right, so if we were to go off of that, you think about it, there's a whole bunch of other places, but if you depending on like your finances, but Tiffany's has a reputation of taking care of their clientele, of, you know, selling quality merchandise. Like, so people go into Tiffany's because yes, they want jewelry, but also there's a background behind it of all the people that have been there before and what people hear about how the store does business with. I mean, what do you think, Nava?
Well, before that,
Yeah,
when
you're right.
when I went to the door, at Tiffany's to drop off your set of beads to give to your husband, there was a very nice Indian gentleman there, you know, groomed really well, clean in his suit and everything. He opened the door for me.
See?
Okay. And on the way out, he said, Radhe, Radhe. Okay. And then when I got to the inner core of Tiffany's, there were two ladies noticed me. I don't think they get too many monks buying jewelry. Says, oh, how are you? Would you like anything to drink to cool off? We have some sparkling, whatever. And I said, no, I'll be okay. Thank you very much. Okay. So they definitely know how to take care of their customers. I thought, well, the temple should be like that, you know, open the door for people and Hare Krishna, how are you? Smother them with love, hugs and kisses and all these things, you know.
Would you like some bubbled water for you?
Yes, right. Okay, well, that's we do have somebody else.
I'm going to let someone else go.
Had an opinion.
Maharaj,
Arjun
Yeah,
Saka,
Yugala Kishore, we have to recognize. Yugala, go ahead.
yeah, about the competition theme. I mean, I understand the cowherd boys, they also compete, when they are playing with Krishna. And there's a competition among themselves as to who can get to please Krishna the most. So, I mean, that level of competition is among devotees sometimes. Or during Prabhupada's times, we had the Christmas marathons. And I remember, when I was part of that ages ago, the devotees were competing as to how many books you were distributing to please Prabhupada. So, in a sense, competition as it is being discussed right now, yeah, I mean, when you're dealing with selling, I don't know, bread or selling tomatoes, whatever, shoes or something, that's a different kind of competition. That's more like a commercial, efficiency, looking forward to outdo your competitors. But in the transcendental realm, or like you were saying, the attitude towards, a customer coming into a temple. I mean, Bhaktivinoda Thakur had a similar idea when he set up his Namahata program. He came with the idea of the holy name, the marketplace of the holy name. So it's kind of dovetailing the idea of competing as to, how can we expand the Krishna consciousness movement? I mean, the Christians did it, back in the day, 1500 years ago. They got into competing with other religious systems and they won, at least in Europe. So that's my take on it.
Well, I appreciate very much what you're saying. Yes, when it comes to products, material goods, I think Ananta Shesh sent a message out there. Your products will improve when you have a good competition, what you're selling. So there's some validity to it. We have to look at the mindset of, say, like a merchant, a Vaishya, somebody of the Vaishya community. They live by different codes. They're not going to think purely like a Brahmin will,
Right.
A Brahmin's got a different mindset. When it comes to a merchant, the mindset is a little different. Of course, behind the Vaishya or the merchant is that I'm taking care of my family, and I want to make them happy, and I want to give them the best education. So the motives may not necessarily be like cutthroat competition.
Right.
Yeah, so that's another angle, something to consider. Does anybody else have something they want to say on this? Because it's a good topic. And okay, you want to say something? On our side here, we recognize Haripat and Vaishnavi, but I also have somebody over here, and it matters, because he's Canadian.
Yeah, I was thinking that actually material world competition is natural, like it's innate property of this material world because the resources are limited. So people have to compete to of how to utilize the resources, and then you have like different people having different opinions, and somebody wants their opinion to come at the fore. People are naturally going to compete irrespective of us liking it or not. And the second thing I was thinking also, like, yeah, like if we compete, again, like if emotes come into the picture, right? So if the competition is based on ignorance and passion, it's very destructive compared to goodness, like how Srila Prabhupada.
Yeah, so you're saying that competitiveness it's quite natural, it's innate, and it'll come out whether you like it or not. So best to use competition in Krishna service. Haripad, do you want to say something, and then Vaishnavi?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Hare Krishna devotees. So I just wanted to say that there is a lecture on YouTube given by the temple president of Columbus, Prem Vilas Prabhu, and it's based on a book by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And it's basically, I think, like a narration of the book or an interpretation of the book. And it's about his two sons, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj and his brother. So I think you know this. I don't know all the details, Maharaj, but it was competition, kind of. And I would say that was won by His Holiness Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami.
Yeah.
And then,
Lalita Prasad was the name of the other.
what Maharaj? What was it?
Lalita Prasad.
Lalita Prasad. Okay, so so there is competition, and then both my boys played competitive sports, and they have I think we have 5 surgeries in my family to prove that we gave it our best. 2 on each, 2 on the knee, and etc. etc. But and also Maharaj, Prabhupada had like a competition with I would say, some
That
of his
Yugala
god
Kishore
brothers.
was talking about, right?
Huh?
Yugala Kishore was talking about that.
Yes,
Right,
yes.
right,
No,
right.
no, I'm saying Prabhupada himself
He
competed.
encouraged it. Well, he saw passion in his young men and women, right? So he's saying,
Yes,
since they're competitive, why don't we channel that, dovetail it in Krishna service, right?
yes. And in our temple, Maharaj, there is competition. It's not easy to get to sing on the Sunday Love Feast. I mean, the people that, they really, there is, in some ways, competition is good, even in devotional service, I think.
Mhm. Yes, Vaishnavi?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Yep. So I was going to say something similar to what Yugala Kishore was saying. Prabhupada encouraged competition and book distribution. And at the same time, he was also not encouraging a competition when at some point in Mayapur, there were competition in kirtan parties. Who led
Yes.
better kirtan? He didn't want that competition. So again, like in any other aspects of life, I guess we have to get the guidance of someone who knows what is best to see if competition is good for us or not in
Yeah.
areas.
Yeah, when it came to the different kirtan parties coming to Mayapur to compete for awards or what recognition, it was something Prabhupada found untasteful. And he didn't like it in the end because chanting Krishna's name is supposed to be quite free from those kind of passionate tendencies. And everything just ended up being like showmanship. It didn't end up being like a pure projection of the holy name, right? Okay, I wanted to say something too. One good friend of mine who he's a Canadian guy, moved to he was in Hawaii for many years though. He spent 3 hours with Prabhupada learning about 9 points how to run a good business. So he was the Grasta. His name's, I won't mention his name because he preferred not for us to do that. But he started a tennis business, training people in tennis, how to play tennis. And he was very successful. In fact, people want to buy his business and merge. He was just doing so good, but he didn't compromise on principles, such as anyone who's going to be trained, they had to be vegetarian. So that's how strict he was about it. Now, what I want to say at the end, because I would talk to him once in a while, I'd call him up. And even when I was in my walk, I was in Pennsylvania and we had a good chat. And it was the 50th anniversary of ISKCON. And so I just chatted with him a bit because we were doing it on a regular basis anyways. And he was telling me that in some place in America, that was the Midwest, some teachers in some school were trying to ban sports altogether. No sports. And then it actually went to court. So he jumped in and his argument was, listen, sports are good, competition is good because it teaches you how to learn to lose. You understand what I'm saying? And no team always wins. You have to learn to accept defeat In other words, he was saying humility comes out of this. Yeah. So that's something to dwell on. And the other thing I did want to say, and it was voiced also by Nandashesh there, that, yeah, say like when it comes to physical strength, if you go for competition within your own, let's say, community, through sports or whatever, it tunes you up, it prepares you for when the real battle comes. You know, it just, you get yourself physically ready for when the enemy antagonists from outside come. And that was something that the, what's that place in Eastern India? Arjun married one of his wives. Which one? Yeah, Manipur.
Manipur.
There was a time when in Manipur where the men were off to battle. Somewhere they left their homes, and the women and the children were left, you know, like say, unprotected. But the women themselves learned something from their husbands. So when they were attacked, in the absence of the husbands, they could deal with the matter. So it's just a matter of being tuned up, like what you do with your car, you know, just make sure you just, everything, you're in good shape, you eat the right things, and you know, so there's something to be said about competitiveness that we may not like, but like if you're a true Brahmin, you might not participate in competition, but you will support others who need it, who are in that world already, and you back it up. Does that make any sense? Because we're talking about the Varna and ashram system. Not everyone's molded like a Brahminical person. Peace and love and groovy and all this business, you know, and the Brahmins are few, but Kshatriyas are many more, Vaishyas are many, many more, and the most people that you're going to get are people who are in the working business, you know, people who are quite physical, and we all need each other. We complement each other. So, Hare Krishna. Is there competition amongst Brahmins? Well, there are some fun stories in the Vedas about competitive Brahmins. It makes you want to laugh a little bit. You think, well, Brahmins aren't supposed to be like, come down to that level, you know? So there's something to be said about that. Okay, anybody else? I think it's good what we've gone through. I think it's a good subject matter. We would like to hear from some of the other devotees, you know.
I guess it depends, right, Maharaj, the mood. Like you can have
Yeah.
competition in different modes. So you can have
Yeah.
competition in the mode of goodness, you can have competition in the mode of passion, and
Mhm.
can have competition in mode of ignorance. And so I guess it can be like so many things in the material world, it can be a good or a bad thing depending on, you know, what the goal is, what the mentality is behind it.
Yeah, what's the intent? Yes.
Yeah.
I don't think you'll take competitiveness away from the human factor. It will always be there. But what really is important is that, you know, you play a game for the sake of playing the game, and you do it for the sake of, you know, trying to please Krishna, you know, like that. And Krishna even tells Arjuna, be attached to the service, not the results so much, right? But in the matter of the service, there might be a little competition there. I'll give you an example where it got to be like some grown two families came to Rath Yatra time fundraising, and so who's going to donate all the sugar? I hate to say it, but you know, we raise money and we raise goods for white sugar, and shame on us. But anyways, you know, so one family was put their names down on the thermometer outside the temple room for donating all the sugar. And then another family came in to say, we also wanted to donate some sugar. And the first donor says, you can't do that. you can't do that. We're the ones, like they felt they had a monopoly. They had a monopoly. And so it got to be almost like a kid, like a cat fight, you know? I said, this is ridiculous. Those are grown adults, and why are they getting so, you know, why come to that standard, right? Some people will be very ugly. Has anybody ever seen Ben-Hur? The famous classic, you know, Ben-Hur movie. How about our thespians, Namacharya, Reverend Mr. Have you ever seen that? Now you will see it, Ben-Hur. And there's a famous chariot fight in there. And the one person who was the undisputed monarch, you know, champion of chariot racing, he had attached to his wheels some sharp, you know, some spikes or whatever you want to call it, that would weaken the wheels of his competitors. And nobody said anything about it. It's just like he felt he had a divine right to be dirty and mean. You know? Anyways, in those rehearsals, or when they were filming actually the picture, one person died in the process. You know, one stunt man died in it, unfortunately. But you know, I mean, there is like dirty competition, and you get disqualified if you don't play your cards right, right? Well, steroids, you know, you get disqualified if you don't take steroids. Am I right about that? At least the rules were like that at one time. You know, so it has to be like clean competition. You know, as clean as can be, right? So those are my comments, and I really appreciate all the contributions by the devotees here. Anybody else want to say something? What really resonates for me is what my friend said. He was a motivational speaker, by the way. And he said, no, competition is good because you learn how to lose. And losing, it humbles you.
Maharaj, I
Okay.
have a question. Can I ask? Is the Bhagavatam and a question?
Yeah, sure. And Arjun does have his hand up before that, but you go ahead, Haripad.
Yeah, just a quick question, Maharaj. So I was reading in the Srimad Bhagavatam that Lord Balaram, that is Baladeva, that is Krishna's elder brother, whose appearance day we just had, he gets angry at Bhima because Bhima kills Duryodhan by striking him below the belt, which I guess was against the rules of warfare in those days. Not that people follow it these days, but so Balaram actually threatens to kill Bhima because he killed Duryodhan in an illegal way. And Krishna actually comes to the defense, and he pacifies his elder brother, and that's all it says. I'm just starting, Maharaj. I'm just towards the end of the first canto. You know, I've heard a lot, so I want you
That's
to
true. So
talk
Balaram
about it.
made a statement about that. He wasn't involved during the time of the war, but was a lot of dirty stuff that went on prior to that. You know, they kind of lost it when Abhimanyu went into the Vyuha, the battle formation. He was younger than everybody else. He fought valiantly. And then when he lost his weapon, they just came at him with weapons. So it was the whole clean competition, or the moral codes were lost at that point, and it just went haywire, which happens in the mode of passion, right? You forget what the regulations are about, what the rules are all about, because you're so attached to your position. So Balram didn't bring that up in the conversation. Yeah, but it was Krishna who said, you know, below the belt. You know, Krishna was very determined for the pious people to win this war so that they could rule the world. Yeah. So, but that point is made by Krishna and others. Well, you didn't say anything, not to Balaram directly, because he's the older brother. So, you know, Karna was making of this. How can you fight? How can you be so dirty at this? Well, what about you and Draupadi? You know, that was more grave. That was more serious. Look at how you dealt with Draupadi. What was all that about? You're talking about following rules. Where were your rules when that critical moment came? So in that way, I think Krishna comes out heroic, you know, to protect the great queen, Draupadi. Yeah, Arjun, go ahead.
Thank you so much. So I was gonna say like competition is great because it teaches you that even if you lose, somebody's better than you. But the thing is like sometimes when you win all the time, it becomes boring. But also, like if you win, people envy you. They envy things that you have. So winning is also like a thing that you get. But
Yes.
if you really want to win, you have to work for it. It's not given to you.
Let's say if you always win the game, you can become proud. And pride is a quality, according to the 16th chapter, amongst the asuras. It's not the best quality to have. Good. All right. Can we hear from any? Oh, we have Dhanraj. Go ahead.
Hey Krishna Maharaj. Maharaj, I have a funny take on this and a serious take on this both. The funny take is that originally we are all competitors because when the sperm is swimming to the egg, the one sperm that really reaches the egg is the one that wins. So we're all competitors from the word go, to be honest with you. So that's the funny part of it. So, that's what I think. And the serious part is that, anything done, I mean, in the material world, yes, we are, there's everything is a competition, right? You've got to do things the best way possible. You've got to, do things the right way and all of that. So there's a competition in that sense. But then there's also the spiritual part because we are a soul in a body. So from keeping that in mind, I think when you're motivated with your guru brothers and guru sisters to serve Krishna more and do better service. So that competition is in the mode of sattva and goodness. So I think it's a bit of both, I think, for me.
Thank you. Nice. I think intent is really important, and as long as we can keep the game or the competition clean, then then there's some validity to it. Good. Anybody else? Can we hear from the Dutch boys?
Orange boom.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Um, I would say that in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Narad Muni explains how that the Lord is always impartial. So the question is posed to him, why is it that the Lord appears to be partial to one person versus another, giving victory to one versus defeat to another in competition? But he explains that actually there is no such thing. The Lord is always impartial. Um, what's happening is that the modes are themselves in competition with each other. So the three modes of nature are always competing, and it's always the mode of goodness that will come out on top in the long run, and the mode of passion that will appear victorious in the short run, and the mode of ignorance will be in indolence. So asuras will appear to win sometimes, and then eventually the mode of goodness will be triumphant, so the devatas will eventually win. But it's not that it's not the fact that Krishna is partial towards the jivas. It's just that the modes themselves are created like this. So wherever we place ourselves in these three modes, that's the result that we are naturally going to get. That will be the fruit of the competition. So that would be my comment.
True. Krishna's impartial, yet maybe in a contradictory way. He says, but I've got my heart is with the devotees. And just like say, if you hear Namacharya, like you particularly, you hear that the schoolhouse is on fire where your two daughters are, what are your thoughts? Oh, all those children. Oh, we have to go and save them. They need to be saved. We have to pull them out of danger, they may die before this fire even gets to them. They might die and choke on the smoke. So, but in your heart, you're thinking of your two daughters, right? In your heart. So Krishna's like that. He's very, let's say, aloof, you could say. It's giving everyone equal opportunity. But there's some that are just a little bit more favorably disposed, naturally. You can't fault Krishna for his being attached to his devotees.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Yeah. Okay, anything else? We've got like 4 minutes left.
Can I make another comment, if it's okay?
Oh, yeah, sure.
About earlier comment about the fact that Srila Prabhupada did not like the kirtan competitions and things like that. So I was really, that was very insightful into the personality of Srila Prabhupada and his preferences, because it's always the fact that within the Vaishnava community, where there should be no competition, because Krishna is present within everyone in a very direct way. But when it comes to facing outwards, for example, preaching missions, distributing books, there we can have competition, because it's not about competing to prove myself better than anyone in a closed system, in a closed pie, in a fixed size pie, but rather it's about bringing more people to the fold. So if one devotee brings more people than the others, then that is always encouraged, but never with the sense of proving one better than the other, but it's always that who can, let's just everyone try to increase the size of the pie, and it will be beneficial all around for everyone.
Nice. Good. Well, thank you. Good comments. Yeah, definitely. And I won't ignore the remark. I think it was an Antashish, somebody said a happy Janmashtami to everyone. So I offer my happy Janmashtamis to all of you. And if you get a chance to see the animation of the Maha Avatar Narasimha, it's out in the theaters now. Has anybody had a chance to see that? No,
Yes, we saw it, Maharaj. It was wonderful.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing, isn't it?
Yes.
Is that on the big screen, Maharaj?
Yes.
Yeah, it's on the big.
Wow,
We
I
saw
didn't
the
know that.
Cineplex. We saw the Cineplex. You can see what's going on. Maybe in Miami they'll have it there.
Okay.
Right? Perhaps somebody has a connection there in
Yugalakishan.
Gainesville, because there's so many of us over there.
Yeah, Yugalakishan Prabhu, it's going on in Gainesville right now until
really?
until
Okay.
Tuesday, I think. I know until Tuesday, I think. I'm not sure when is the last day. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna check it out. Thanks.
Yeah, you better.
I will, Maharaj.
Okay. All right. So any last minute remarks? We can do a real quick 1 word.
Jeez.
How about 2 words? 2 words? Okay. All right. 2 words. 3. Stop it. Let's try 2 words. Okay.
Okay.
Yes, Navayavana Prabhu.
2 words. Very difficult, but
Yeah, I don't know how can we do it.
Very
okay.
difficult. That is
Okay,
true.
no, I just shortened it now. Compete yourself.
Compete yourself.
Compete yourself.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's a good. I've tried that. I compete with myself. Yeah, I do
Yes.
that. Whether it's walking or something like that.
Yeah, that's the best competition.
Yeah, it does keep you on your toes. But some people, that's just not gratifying enough. Anyways, go ahead. You're entitled. Who's next? People start with A's. Their names are A.
Hare
Krishna Balaram.
Hare Krishna.
And mine is Krishna Balaram.
Oh, Krishna Balaram. Okay. All
And
right.
mine was Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Nice. Thank you.
Learn humility.
Learn humility. Next.
Sankalpa.
Happy Janmashtami. I came late, so I
I'm not
Happy
sure
it was Janmashtami, yes. Yes,
Then
happy.
Krishna wins.
Krishna wins. Okay.
Ravindra Swarup.
Failure humbles.
What's that?
Failure humbles.
Failure humbles. Yes.
Yugla
Yeah.
Kishore Prabhu.
Pride's no good.
Right.
Arjuna Prabhu.
Pride no good. 2 words.
Unfavorable pride or whatever. Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
there you go.
Next.
Krishna's competition.
I'm sorry, please repeat.
Krishna's competition.
Krishna's competition. Okay. I get it.
Gurudas, did you have a chance to say?
I did. I said learn humility.
Learn humility. Very nice.
Ramacharya.
Good.
Krishna's victory.
Krishna's victory. Yes.
Shakti Devi.
Tiffany wins.
Humble to the end.
What did you say?
Humble to the end.
Humble to the end. All right. All right. Let it fly. 4 words. Next.
I think that's all. Everybody is done.
You haven't Vaishnavi, Mataji.
Vaishnavi, go ahead.
Competition good.
Okay, good. You changed your mind. You changed your mind. Okay. All right. All right. So thank you, Bruce. Next week, where am I going to be? Anyways, I'll just keep on it. I am going to Nunavut. That's way up where the polar bears are. And I'll be, venturing off there in about a week from now, something like that. We might not see the sun go down. And we might see polar bears and dance with them. Maybe ride on their back.
Jai Maharaj, all success to your mission, Maharaj.
All right. Thank you, everyone. It's a
Yeah.
pleasure.
Kalpatarubhyascha kripasinubhyeva
Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha.
Happy
Haribol.
Janmashtami.
Happy
Om.
Janmashtami,
Happy
everybody.
Janmashtami. Happy Vyasa Puja. Hare
Yes.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Happy Janmashtami,
Hare
everybody.
Krishna.
Thank
Happy
you.
Janmashtami, everybody.
Hare
Thank you, Vaishnavi
Krishna.
Prabhuji. Thank you, Vaishnavi Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji.